Test, test. Good. Alright guys, we're going to be taking a break. Even though we just got started on the 350Z again, I'm going to be taking a break for just a second because something popped up. It might be a dumb decision on my part, but as you can see, I am hooked up to the trailer. I had to use my abandoned neighbor's driveway last night, but hooked up to this trailer, and also had to call in a little bit of backup for this one, and I'm going to meet up with the backup now, and I got some bad decisions to make today, so let's get to it. Oh guys, my backup is arriving now. Alright guys, so after about an hour and a half of driving with no response from the seller, we stopped at a Hooters for about an hour, and now we finally got the call, got the address, and I'm 8 minutes away. So I'm gonna try to film as much as I can at the location. Obviously, I don't want to intrude too much if this guy doesn't want me to film there. But I'm definitely gonna at least have where the cars are located, because it seems like I may have developed a habit of buying cars in this certain way. So yeah, I'll pull the camera back out when we get to the location, and we'll look at the condition of the cars together. So here it is. Okay guys, I wanted to quickly go over what happened here. I explain more in the next clip, but the original plan was to go pick up two cars, both for $1,300. The guy had listed them together as a whole and did not want to separate the two. I get there, and the white Z3 was in way worse condition than I had thought, and the sedan that I ended up buying, maybe slightly worse condition, but I didn't really have much to go off of. Anyway, after getting there and noticing that the cars were way more work than I wanted to put into, tried to walk away, and the guy offered me just the sedan for $800. And Benz, I had one at home. I went with it. Another thing is, originally the sedan was supposed to come on stock wheels. As you can see in the photos, it has stock wheels on it. Whenever I got there, something happened to where he ended up selling the stock wheels to a friend and putting the BBSs on the car, which was kind of crazy. So, and also I didn't really consider that. I don't know, I was just overwhelmed, I guess, this day, and I didn't really even consider that being beneficial to me, but whatever. So the car came on these BBSs here, and so yeah, I think I made a good deal. Here's the rest of the video. Alright guys, it is now the next morning, and I'm very, very, very sorry that I did not film yesterday, but to be completely honest with you, I was a little bit upset that I bought this car yesterday. I don't know, I just wasn't in the right headspace, and you know, I originally went there to get two cars. They both ended up being way worse than I thought, and I ended up buying this one, and I just honestly had buyer's remorse right afterwards, after we loaded it up and left. But after sleeping on it last night, I woke up and decided it wasn't that bad. Again, I'm sorry I didn't film it, but yesterday when we got it back to the shop, I cleaned a little bit out of the back of the car. There was so much junk piled up in the car, not even like junk from other cars and stuff, just piled up. The smell in this car was mildewy, and just, even though I only paid $800 for the car, I felt like it was more work than I wanted to do. Obviously, I'm trying to focus on my 350Z right now, but so I seen this on Marketplace and thought that I could make some easy money, and it ended up being more work than I wanted to sign up for. But again, after sleeping on it, I kind of have a little bit of an idea of what I want to do. So let's go over the car finally, and I'll show you guys exactly the pile of junk I picked up yesterday. And here it is. 2001 E46 325i And this is what we're working with in the front end. And it looks like we got some buddies here to help us work today. What's up, guys? You know how to hold a wrench? You guys are loud. Alright, anyway, I got my guard dog here. I think they scared him away. But anyway, this is the damage of the car in the front. As you can see, the body panels and everything look pretty decent on this car. It's missing a mirror. But as far as the exterior goes, pretty straight. Everything, there's no dents or dings really. It's missing this one piece here, which I have. Other than that, the exterior of the car looks pretty good. And that's what I really seen in the pictures before going to look at these two cars. The other was just junk. The other car, the Z3, was garbage. It looked like it had been sitting with the top down for like a year. The interior was garbage. The exterior was garbage. And in the photos, the exterior looked, you know, at least as good as this one, minus the missing panels. But yeah, the radiator is not in the car anymore. It looks like they probably replaced all this front shroud and everything from maybe a different car, because there's no damage here. They just kind of threw it on and tied it with sensor plugs. But I think last night after sleeping on it, the pros and cons I kind of weighed out in my head, and it seems like there's more pros than cons. I only paid $800 for this car. It does have a clean title, which I have. Or the car itself has 108 original miles, 108,000. All the body panels seem to be straight, minus the bumper and the hood. I do have a spare hood for this car. It is silver though. I also have a bumper that's also silver, but I'm gonna get into that later. The interior I would rate for this 2001 car, which is now 24 years old, is not the worst. I've seen a lot worse interior. I mean, it's tan, which is not my favorite, but aside from the driver's seat being ripped and the steering wheel airbag being busted and a little bit of nastiness and, you know, crusty here, the dash looks pretty good. There's no cracks in the dash. The passenger seat looks pretty well. The door cards are in okay shape. I just noticed that for the first time on the pillar up there is pretty messed up. Headliner, not too bad. A little bit of some mold and things starting to form. Maybe with a lot of cleaning. Over here on the passenger side, I don't know why, but it looks like there is a graveyard of like big flies down in there. It's disgusting. But really, I guess the main selling point of this car is gonna have to be these factory BBS BMW wheels that it came on. None of them, surprisingly, have much, maybe even at all, curb rash. Some of the clear coat's missing. I'm sure these wheels are old too. The hardware, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts in this one. He did give me a bag of hardware, but I don't know if it's enough to cover that wheel. And you can see on this side, there's a factory stock BMW wheel there. So he gave me the other wheel. It is taken apart, but it looks okay. It's just taken apart. I guess maybe he was in the process of taking them apart to clean them. I don't know. But I don't know if he gave me the hardware for both that wheel and the missing studs that are on the car. Also, I don't think I got any center caps with these either. But still, the wheels alone, I believe, are worth a pretty good bit. So I haven't yet decided if I wanted to sell the wheels separately after obviously cleaning them up and putting them back together. Honestly, I think I might could get $800 for the wheels. I'm not sure, but But then I would have to buy stocks for this car because I don't have, and just, you know, some things to think about. I may want to fix the whole car up, you know, decently enough to resell and make it a reliable street car again with the BBS wheels on. Maybe that would attract somebody to buy it. So I think the only things I would really need to buy so far, looking at it, is a radiator. I believe I have all the other bits because the back seat of this car was filled with all of this you see here. Spare headlights, pieces of the grill, just a bunch of plastic, air box, trim. Obviously this doesn't go with the car. This whole garbage can is filled with just broken bits and pieces of not even this car or some from this car. There's like 3 or 4. There's like multiples of certain parts where it looks like they've tried to source parts to fix this car and then just kind of gave up. So it was just a lot of clutter to go through, and was kind of overwhelming yesterday, especially driving 2 hours to pick this car up. We drove back in the pouring rain, and we get it here, and it just looks like I transported a bunch of garbage from somebody's house and paid him $800. But after kind of taking a breath and going over everything I have and kind of sorting out what I want and I don't want, and now today I'm going to do a good bit of cleaning and really decide what I want to do, if I have to order parts, this, that, see how much money I can get into it, and then possibly get out of it. But the biggest thing that made me feel better last night is we actually started the car. So I wasn't even able to start this car, either car, at the guy's house yesterday. He was claiming that there was a fuse blown on the main battery terminal going to the battery. Neither cars had batteries in them. Whenever I hooked up my jump pack to the car, I was able to get enough power to turn the key on, put it in neutral, and then everything on the dash lit up, but it wasn't able to turn over at all. Didn't even try, didn't click or nothing. But fortunately, when we got back to the shop yesterday, last night, I took the brand new battery that I bought for my Nissan and threw in here just to see, and it actually turned over. It didn't have the air box in there, so the MAF wasn't plugged in, and I got this off of my other E46, and I knew it had a brand new mass airflow sensor in it. So putting this on and plugging the mass airflow in, it ended up starting up. I just started it up enough to make sure it ran and then killed it. But the car did start up, so that was a little bit of stress off my head. Again, it only has 108,000 miles. So I think there's a lot of potential here. I did have the radiator out of my other E46. I kind of dug up out of the junk pile over here. I believe there's a difference between the manual transmission radiator from the automatic, because obviously the manual transmission does not have an oil cooler that goes to it. So there's a little bit of difference there that I'm not 100% familiar with, but I don't believe my manual radiator will work. So I will source a new one. I'll just take it one step at a time, and maybe I'll be able to make a little bit of money off this car. That was my total plan on this side project, was to just kind of make some money. I just didn't know if it was worth it, and maybe it will be. I'm gonna try not to stress it too much. The main thing that really upset me yesterday is because I'm mainly focused on my 350Z right now, getting the roll cage in there, and you know, this is obviously gonna now take a lot of time, and I don't know if it's worth it, but oh well. You live and you learn. But I think we might have something here. $800 car, comes on BBS's, runs, drives, clean title, but they're real. BMW, Germany. Where's it at? Oh yeah, BBS right there, upside down. So they're real. I just don't have the center caps. I think this is for the stock. And then I have all this hardware to put this one back together. But I think after I remove a lot of this clutter it will relieve a lot of stress for me and it won't seem so bad. Oh man, that's the first dent I've seen right there. Barely a little dent. Anyway, I'm not going to do too much in this video other than just clean and kind of assess what I need to buy to get this car running again. You know, if this is something you guys maybe want to see more in depth of, I'm not really sure. I debated on making even a video for this car just because of how I felt about it yesterday, and it wasn't the original plan. I mainly wanted to focus on my 350Z, getting it ready to go and drift, because I've been waiting to do that for like 10 years now, to be honest. But now I buy something like this and take away from that. So obviously I will film bits and pieces of it once I get some parts ordered and get a little progress going. I'm gonna definitely clean the wheels, get them as nice as possible, throw the other one on the car and get it all matching. I don't know if you guys could tell or not, but these are pretty much like lug studs on cars, how you have to kind of beat them in and then, or maybe pull them in. These bolts don't necessarily have enough thread, or they're not long enough to be able to push through and then put a nut on the back side of them. So you do have to beat them in. I think they have this little notch in the middle so you can beat them with like a pin or whatever, but I tried that and it didn't really work too well. But it seemed like this method worked pretty good, just putting this extension over it. Kind of fits perfectly and just hammering them in that way. So unfortunately I could not for the life of me find a 12-point deep well 10mm socket so I could use a drill for this, or an impact. So I think I'm gonna have to do this by hand with this ratchet wrench. At least it's a ratchet, I guess. But I should be able to put all the nuts on the back side of these and then pull them up with this. And yeah, this wheel will be done. I know I should have like polished it and cleaned them before putting this wheel together, but the other three are already together and I'm not gonna go through the trouble of taking them apart just to clean them. I think I'll be able to clean them enough just, you know, with them together. But we'll tackle that when we get there. For now, I'm just gonna put all the same wheels on the car and get them matching. But I'm not gonna bore you guys by hand wrenching the rest of these nuts on this wheel, so I'll show you the wheels on the car when I get done, and I might call it after that. All right guys, I aborted that mission pretty quick. I am just gonna go pick up a 12-point 10mm deep well socket next time. I'm on the way here, maybe tomorrow, and just, you know, that way I can impact. That's just way too much time. And then some of the ones that aren't super straight hit up against the barrel, so I'm just gonna wait, because I still also have to put the rest of the hardware in that rear wheel right there too. So, you know, I'm not gonna waste time doing it by hand when I can just pick up that tool. But anyway, just messing around, I went and put a spare hood that I had on the car, an old headlight, and an old front bumper. And you know, if you look at it from about 20 feet away and really squint your eyes, it's not that bad looking of a car. But no, I just did that messing around. I put this hood on. This is a spare hood that actually came with that car that I have over there that I got a while back, and it's a little beat up and obviously not the right color, but you know, the hood shocks work, and it didn't really line up that great, but you know, I just kind of threw it on there for fun anyway. But the headlight I just have sitting in for no reason. I didn't really give myself a whole lot of time today to mess around with this car. I kind of just wanted to come and get a game plan for today. I did a little bit of cleaning on the interior, started a little bit on that wheel. Other than that, I think all I need after doing some digging around, I want to say all I need to do is buy a radiator for this, and then maybe some new O-rings on this transmission oil cooler. Other than that, I believe all the sensors, the headlights, in that pile of garbage over there, I believe I have like all the hoses and miscellaneous stuff that I'll need once I just get a radiator. Because to me, it looked like the previous owner of this car was in the process of changing the radiator. It looks like that's all they pulled out of the car. And then they started sourcing some things that were broken, like the plastic coolant reservoir and things like that. So I believe I have everything I need to get this car running. As far as the transmission, I still don't know yet. I know I'm able to shift it from park to neutral and vice versa, but if it actually runs and shifts, I'm not sure. The engine though, I know at least will start, even given how it is now. It started fairly easily. I'm not gonna do it again. I will as soon as I can, but there's just, you know, I don't want to damage the engine. I just kind of quickly started it last night, you know, for peace of mind, just on and off. So yeah, if you guys want to see this kind of content, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and order a radiator for this car, and then when it comes in, I'll probably, you know, continue on it then. But until then, I may just clean and might get back into some 350Z stuff. So until then, this is only my first full day with this car, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.